guess we'll start with item 1. Do you just want to go down?
Yeah, so on item 1, I put in the email from Jennifer Boyster about, this is kind of covers 1 and 2, the engine brake signs on 545. I have requested that they put those in because we don't have the crew to block off traffic. We don't have the equipment.
What'd she say about?
She's going to get that put together. And she
Okay.
did not give me a timeline,
No.
but she said it is going to happen.
Okay.
So they are going to put those signs, or I don't know how many, because honestly, our reach on 545 just goes to Paradise Estates. So it might be 2 right there, because that's the only portion of 575 that's in the city. But they are going to put them in, but I don't have a timeline.
Okay.
And then about, Rhonda, you had asked about the traffic light at 825 and 78. She answered that. Also, this intersection, she said, is still in the queue for study. She's going to inquire about estimated wait time, but she said in November and December, those move a little slower as holiday traffic can skew the traffic flow. So they're going to do it during non-holiday times so they can get an accurate traffic study done. And so that kind of covers 1 and 2, 545 and 825. Anybody have any questions about items 1 or 2?
Well, on the item number 1, the engine brake signs, I know we're going to put them up, but who's going to enforce it? Because we don't have a police department or anything like that to
Right.
enforce it.
So they will be put up.
Okay.
But unless we have Collin County or, state troopers on that road, we won't be able to enforce it. Hopefully the signs will deter people, but, and I do know that TxDOT is trying their hardest not to route very large trucks as much as they can down to 545. They're trying to route them on 121, 160, 78 instead of using 545. One, because I bet you they're tired of repairing things on that corner. There's been some hilarious mishaps with gigantic trucks trying to take that left on the Business 78. So I do know that they're gearing down from making them take that road.
How did they do that?
They just route them different because they have to go through, why can't I think of the word? They have people that route their routes, and
I mean, with all the construction, I mean, it's going to be impossible to keep.
well, not through our part of town, maybe through Melissa and up a little further, but I mean, down to 1377 maybe. But other than that, I mean, I'm talking about because that was the route they were sending people. They weren't sending them on 121 and 160. They weren't sending them on 78 because 545 goes right through the middle. So that's where they were going because that saved them money not having to pay for the mile. So, I mean, that's just, they're not going to stop it. They're just slowing it down. So, but yeah, unless there is deep, troopers or Collin County, it's not going to be enforceable, but hopefully the signs will deter them from using the engine brakes.
I think it'll be a deterrent.
I hope so. Any other questions about 1 and 2? Good. Okay. So number 3, I know you had requested about lowering the minimum bid. And I was kind of talking with Allison about this as well, why it might be for a town our size with a budget our size, might actually be in our best interest to keep it at the higher rate. Because that way we have more of a, I guess, a say in, keeping jobs local, to where, like, when we had to bid out for the downtown, if that wouldn't have been a grant, we still would have had to bid out for it. And that guy was from Frisco. And then there was another company from Leonard that everyone really liked, but his bid was a couple $1,000s higher. So we had to go with that low bid. But if we keep it at the 100,000, that way it doesn't have to be a closed bid. And we can go with someone who we can search and see if they, what their history is, how many of, if we're doing a park, say, how many parks have you done? We can look at that. We can actually do research on those companies instead of just having to take it because it's a closed bid at over the $100,000 mark.
I read that and it didn't make a whole lot of sense to me. Because to me, it almost read opposite of what I would think it would be. Because I think if you have to go out for a bidding process for whatever, when it reaches a certain threshold, the transparency is there.
I mean,
And when you
can go
don't
out
have
for
to
a
go out
bid.
for a bid,
I see, and I wouldn't feel comfortable not going out for a bid for something.
well, what's our
Over
policy on
$20,000,
that? What's
you
the city's
know.
policy for?
We go by what the state says. So our policy was $50,000 because that was what the state mandated. And I honestly thought it should have been lower then as well. But like, I wouldn't feel comfortable if, say, we had a job that roughly should cost $60,000. I would still at least want 3 people to turn in a bid before we said, oh, okay, just one person, just you. All right. But
Is
that
that a
way,
written procedure
it's
or
not.
is that just
that is
so
just,
we could go with their higher rate, but have a written procedure that states
Absolutely.
that we have to have a certain number of bids?
right. But it doesn't have to be a closed bid. You can
Right.
do your research. You can try to keep it local.
Right.
I mean, there's,
Which to me,
there's,
that makes sense, because if you just have to take the lowest bid, I mean,
You know.
we could have a project for $2 million and some dude bids it for 800,000. Well, obviously there's a big gap there. He's gonna get it, but
right.
obviously he's not covering the job.
But I do think we have to have a bidding.
Yeah, and that's what
Right,
she's
I
saying. She
agree.
would still bid
Yeah.
it no matter the
Yeah.
dollar amount. but we
Yeah,
have
that
to
was
work
my
with it.
concern.
Yeah.
Is
Yeah.
She would, but if the next person comes in, would they? If
Right.
It's not written as policy.
So there definitely can be a policy written. We just have to put it on as an action item on an agenda, and we
I
can.
think we need to do that.
Absolutely.
I agree.
And I agree with that as well. That makes me more comfortable dealing with the financials, because I would rather say, hey, this is what we're doing. Y'all show me what you can do,
Right.
instead of, well, this is how much
This
we
is
have.
this is the only one we got.
Exactly.
Nobody else. Yeah.
Exactly. And a lot of people, a lot of companies, from what I just was kind of reading up on it, just trying to figure stuff out. They said a lot of companies won't do those kind of bids because there's too much paperwork. And I was like, well, then we don't want them anyways. We want the people who are going to be okay with doing a little bit of
Right.
paperwork. Should,
Absolutely.
yeah. So we can definitely put that on for, I'll send it over to Allison to see what kind of,
Okay.
yeah, what we can do for that. But, yeah, it's better for smaller cities to keep it at that high level, so they do have a little bit more input on who they're hiring for their jobs. Anybody have any more questions about the minimum bids? Nope. Okay. And rodeo is on septic. Is on septic.
Is it really?
Yes. They are not on city sewer, they are on septic.
Well, it's just the one bathroom they've got.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, because then they bring in,
They bring in the porta potties and
Right.
stuff during the big events.
Yeah.
So, yeah. But just wanted to make sure I got that information to be on. So the next one is Crystal did a great job breaking everything down, went through, added it all up. So over the last 6 years since August of 2020, we have discounted Blue Ridge ISD's water by $16,191.51.
Mhm.
So it's, I mean, it might not seem like a lot over 6 years, but that's a lot. That's a lot of money.
Well, it's gonna be
It's just
more
gonna keep
too if we
going.
keep the current agreement in place.
Yeah.
Right, because the school's expanding. It's got to.
Yeah. And but see, now the one on 1377 won't be on our CCN.
Yeah.
So we don't have to worry about that. But if they do build anything else within city limits, which I don't think they actually have any land right now to build inside city limits. So we wouldn't have to worry about it, but I still am gonna try to get in touch with Dr. Floyd to see about just axing the agreement altogether, because that easement has been paid for.
Mhm.
So, and it's recorded. It's in land documents. So the easement's been paid for, I think, but
Is that just the easement? Or was that all of the other agreements that we have?
no, that was just for the easement. The discount was in exchange for the easement.
Okay, because we had that other agreement. We had those other agreements that had been signed too. I didn't bring my packet.
No, that one agreement that I put in the last one, that was a rate agreement, a discounted rate agreement
Mhm.
that was for the easement. It was all one document.
Okay, I thought there was another agreement that there were actually two agreements, one that Philip Pulliam had signed. And then that easement agreement one.
That one, the one that Philip signed, I'll have to go back and look at it. Cause that one, let's see if I can pull it up.
Because we had one up there beside the high school, beside the, on the edge of whatever, tank or whatever was that.
Right, I think that was
We had
that
that
one.
one, yeah. And then we were looking at one down on the other side of the school, when you go out of the school. I don't know if we ever became up with anything, because that was talked about when we were trying to do Tiger Lane and stuff of that nature.
Right, that's the one that we're talking about,
Okay,
over there by the softball field.
okay.
That was the
But
one,
what about the one down there by where the old tennis courts were?
I'm thinking that is the one that Philip signed.
That may be, because that was the one that was down there, that, that was another
Yeah,
thing.
another, yeah. This isn't gonna pull up for me, so I'll look into it, but I mean, regardless, they're both still recorded.
Mhm.
And there should have been a time limit on those.
Definitely.
For sure. And I mean, and if they don't agree with it, there's always, negotiation.
Yeah, we'll have to do that if they
Yeah.
don't agree. Okay, which they probably won't.
They won't, but that's okay, because we can negotiate. It's fine.
Okay.
Okay, I just put in here the, ad that I put on TML for the financial officer. I've only gotten a couple of people answering, but Allison said that it would be like that if we put it on in December or January. So that's why I asked to hold it for like 90 days instead of just 30 or 60, just because I would like to have more people apply for that. So we have a bigger pool of people to choose from. So, I mean, it's not that I don't need the help or I don't want the help. I want it. I just want good help.
Right.
So, yeah. Does anybody have any, and this is the one that Allison wrote. So, anybody have any questions on that one?
Mhm.
Okay. This one is, from me and Crystal. Cause Linda, you saw it the other day. It was bad. So there's just two of us, right?
Mhm.
Sometimes there's only one of us in there. That office it's pretty big. So I have requested that I can put out a bid for a licensed, insured, and bonded cleaning company once a month.
Oh, is that all you want?
That's all I want. I don't,
For the deep clean.
just a deep clean once a month. Because you got the guys coming in. I mean, we can spot sweep and wipe something down, you know, but I'm talking,
Bathroom.
I clean the bathroom. I mean, I don't want to use the bathroom if it's dirty, so I make sure it's clean. And I yell at the boys when they don't put the lid down. I even have a sign, so it's not a public restroom.
Right.
Right. So, so we do our best to keep it clean. We really do. But sometimes it just gets on top of us. I told Linda the other day when she came to sign checks, I was like, please don't judge me. That back room looks like a tornado hit it. I'll get to it. I got to it. But, you know, so just once a month clean, deep clean, and just put out a bid for it. And Linda requested that they be bonded and insured to cover us. So, yeah, so I just wanted to let y'all know we're gonna put that out. Because it gets on top of us, and it's bad, especially with the boys walking in and out in their muddy boots.
Well, everything else y'all have, that's cleaning.
Yeah.
I would have never assumed you cleaned it to begin with. I would assume that we would have something.
No. It's us. But anybody have any questions on that? Okay. This one is, I haven't had a chance to look over this because he kind of just threw it out at me. This is retail coach.
Didn't make a whole lot of sense.
It kind of looks exactly like what he sent us already.
Mhm.
I am going to get Dennis to help me with retail coach.
Good idea. Good idea.
Dennis is our 4A president. I think this is something that he would be great in heading up, and he can keep in probably a little bit easier contact than I can right now. But because this is honestly, this is a 4A economic development.
And they went in on it as well.
Yeah.
So they should be involved.
Did
Exactly.
any of y'all look at it or try
I
it?
tried.
Tried, but
Yeah.
Okay.
Just
yeah.
when it says all this information was delivered to the city in October, did we really get something back in October?
That's what I'm saying. It looks exactly like what he's already sent me.
Okay, 'cause I was like,
Yeah.
I'll see.
Within that binder type.
Yeah, and I went over it because I was looking at some of the stuff and I'm like, this is wrong. I'm like, you've got the center of town as blue collar, and I'm like, that's incorrect. The center of our town is not a bunch of blue collar workers. I mean,
Yeah, I just didn't even understand where they
Yeah,
got
I
the
mean, I kept looking
information.
and looking.
Yeah.
I'm like, okay, we got to the next one. Yeah, it didn't make any sense.
so I am gonna get Dennis to kind of head this up because honestly, like I said, this is a 4A.
Yeah, for sure.
This needs to be a
Yeah.
4A headed
Mhm.
project.
Well, that's just right up his alley.
Oh,
too.
for sure. And Dennis will love this.
Mhm.
So I'm gonna get him to kind of see if he can get a little bit more information from Aaron, the retail coach gentleman. Because I like I said, I think he'd be great to head this up.
Mhm.
And I would love to explain this more to you, but I don't know if I would do any good at it because I think he changed a couple things because I did make notes on the one that I got in October and I sent it to him because he asked for our feedback and I said, well, I need you to look at this a little closer. You do have blue collar, but it's definitely not in the center of town. It's, like you got white collar. Sorry, I'm getting them mixed up. He was saying that 20 to 30-year-old work from home business people were in the middle of town. I'm like, you've got young families, you've got construction, you've got elderly, I'm like, that's the center of our town, honestly. So I think he switched a little bit up.
I think it's just grabbing numbers from the air.
Yeah.
We have 33 people who walk to work every day.
So are we still wanting to move forward with this right now?
I mean, we've already paid for it.
Already paid for it.
Those checks are cashed, unfortunately.
So we paid for the dad.
We paid for the,
So we
yes.
don't have to technically you know,
like the whole thing that the whole amount that Vance said
yeah,
has already been paid.
Yeah.
Because it was split between 4A, 4B and the city. So all funds have been dispersed. So like I said, I'm gonna get Dennis on it.
to really cipher out what this all
Yeah,
means.
and Dennis will get our money's worth out of this from this
Yeah.
company. I guarantee it.
I agree.
And the person that came to the comprehensive planning, that company, those two individuals, they were very knowledgeable and, you know,
Yes.
to an extent, don't you think, Linda?
I agree.
Because whenever they were going over different things and talking about, you know, what's in our town and what, you know, what's kind of looking at.
Well, they're looking at a different thing.
Yeah, but
They're
I mean, it's
asking
the
the
same thing.
people.
Yeah.
They're not looking
Yeah,
at,
but it's the same thing. They had
Yeah.
information, and so it
Yeah.
made somewhat more sense than what all this does.
For
So,
sure.
You know,
yeah, but they're, like I said, I
Pretty
like
much,
their way of gathering data
yes, agree.
a little bit
Yes, I agree.
but this one is just gonna tell us, you know, this is what you need in
Yeah.
town.
Exactly.
So I think it'll work well side by side with our comprehensive plan team. I'm hoping that's the outcome of this. And I've let MHS know about it, that this is a thing, and I have sent this to them and they are looking at it. So hopefully they can
Mhm.
grab a little bit more info
Okay.
than I can out of it. But I'm gonna get Dennis on that one and see how he does with it.
Did we have like some kind of guarantee on that?
I'll have to go and look at the contract that was signed. Because I'm not 100%. I know for a fact that all of the data will be ours.
Yeah.
That I know. So he has to deliver that data in order for it to be ours. So that's kind of glimmering little shiny star of hope in the corner. But I'll look at the contract and see what I can come up with.
Yeah, I was very disappointed in what I did read.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I think it was maybe a little advanced, like maybe we stepped too quick into this one. We should have maybe waited until the comprehensive plan was close to done. Or maybe when a subdivision was a little bit closer to done before we started that. But I mean, it'll be good data regardless. It'll be good data.
I think the presentation of how it was sent to us.
Yeah.
Was somewhat overwhelming. It didn't give us an outline really of what we're looking for, you know, what we're kind of were expecting, you know. I think if you know, maybe a Tractor Supply would be good, maybe this, because that's
Right,
how
which
our
is kind of what it was
conversation
sold
went.
to us.
Yes, that's how we were gonna look for the businesses that would enhance
Exactly.
our community. This right here doesn't tell us anything.
right.
So, I mean, we were looking for the businesses that they thought they could attract to our town
Right.
or to our area.
And I'm hoping, because I'm gonna give Dennis all this information, be
Yeah.
like, this is what,
Because
you know,
that's how
you're
it was
looking
sold
for.
to us,
Correct.
as that they would provide us information on businesses
Businesses.
that we should.
Dennis could look
Right.
at our contract too
Yeah.
and let us know if there's any, Dennis could look at the contract.
Oh,
that
for
we
sure.
signed, too,
Yeah.
and-
Yeah, absolutely. So I'll ask him, you know, I'll tell him what our expectations are, and see what he can get out of them, because like I said, I think he's gonna do great with it. He's gonna do a great job at it. Anyone have any more questions about that one? Okay, so, anyone have any questions about the consent agenda, minutes, financials? I put your fire department report on your table along with the minutes from the workshop and the regular session for December.
On the parking deal, is that for a specific place?
The parking schedule, that is for, the whiskey stop, Tiger.
That's what I
Fuel.
was wondering. That's what I
Yeah.
thought, but I wasn't
Yeah.
100%. Okay.
Because that's what we kind of talked about another time. We were looking at other towns and stuff, deciding, you know, based on how square the area was, how many parking spots.
Right,
Because we had gotten Denison and some other towns.
we got
That was-
Celeste, Denison, Sherman,
yeah,
Bonham,
okay.
yeah, we went,
I was thinking that's what was. Okay.
yes, ma'am.
Well, maybe our new P and Z board can start working on all that stuff.
Yeah, I'm hoping because Sonny, the gentleman who owns Whiskey Stop, we've been trying to work on this for like 6, 7 months,
Mhm.
and he's ready to build. And I feel like I'm kind of like, I can't do this yet. I can't do it yet. He's ready to go, and I want him to build. We all want him to
Yeah.
build. We need more businesses here, and he's trying to
Stuck on
go.
that stupid parking.
And we're stuck on that parking ordinance.
Yeah.
That
Yeah.
literally no one in town follows.
Mhm.
Not
Right.
not one. Well, maybe what, like 4 people meet the requirements. Maybe
Yeah.
I have it all because I did all. I looked everywhere and I counted all the parking spots.
I don't know.
Y'all
if
saw me a
anybody
few
does.
months ago walking around in parking lots. That's what I was doing. I was counting parking spots.
Does the lady who runs the donut shop, does she own it?
She does not. They rent.
Who owns that?
Same guy who owns the Farmersville one, but.
Yeah,
Anna.
sorry.
Are they out of Anna? Isn't he out of Anna?
He's out of Anna. No, they live in Anna, but he's in Farmersville.
That's what I do.
Yeah.
The owners of Sugar Babes and Melissa asked me to figure out who the owner was or what.
I can tell you right now.
That'd be amazing.
Yeah.
Sugar beets.
Yeah.
Yeah, because don't they stay open for like lunch and stuff?
Yeah, they
too?
do lunch stuff too. Yeah.
Yeah. I
I was like, yeah, I can
And
figure that
we
out
have
for you.
another location, Sugar Babe might want to be interested in through the 4A.
don't
You know?
know if they can fit that many fryers back there. You
I'm
know?
just saying, you know, there is that other location.
Yeah.
you know.
I mean, if they want to build, I'd love for them to buy that so they could fix the sign.
Yeah.
and
I know,
all
right?
that,
Right.
and you know, all that good stuff. Okay. Internet's not.
It hasn't
agreeing.
happened tonight, but
Yeah,
that
no,
was-
I'll get you that information.
So the no parking ordinance in number 3, is that
Uh-huh.
the one that we've been talking about over there in front of,
Yeah, because we just want to amend the one that's already passed for special events and weekends. Because it was brought up and it's a very good point. Because I didn't even think of that when we were doing the ordinance in the first place, or I would have put that in there to begin with. But yeah, but that's another thing that's going to be unenforceable. I mean, we're hoping that a fine will deter the tractors from parking, or not the tractors, the trailers from parking and blocking both entrance and exit on the east side of the square. Because that's what they're doing. But we're not gonna be able to enforce it unless Collin County or state troopers are out there.
Which during
Maybe for a
special
while,
events,
people-
they may be.
What now?
During special events, they may be.
Yeah, exactly. Like I know.
That would be the bad time to have them out here.
Yeah, it would. But if we have that ordinance, you know,
Right,
that
right.
the amended ordinance,
Yes,
then we
absolutely.
wouldn't have to worry about it. Anyone have any more questions about any?
On the master fee schedule, are we gonna talk about the whole master fee schedule or?
Just what I
parts.
put in. So this is, the whole master fee schedule is like 10 pages. So the only thing that we're gonna look at are the late fees, the sewer taps, the water taps. That's the only thing we're changing
Okay,
as of.
what
now.
color was that?
So I tried to make it color coded. So
We got yellow. red,
yellow are the items that have been updated for review and approval.
Okay,
Red is the items I'd like to review
okay.
for accuracy because of some updates that we have done.
Mm.
And I just put the green on there because I know that the meter size was a hot topic. We already have that in our master fee schedule
Yeah,
that
for impact fees, but not for
for meters.
fees, our water and sewer.
Right, so the meter type.
Sizes, yeah.
Right. So the impact fee will go up but also I know we need to put it in for the, water and sewer rate as
Okay.
well. Yeah. But I just wanted to make sure that it was on there, that there is something we could go off of
Mhm.
for that, for the sizing and, restaurant, single family home, multiplex, duplex, all that good stuff. But yeah, but I put it in there under 15%, 25%, and 30%. I didn't do a 20% increase because I know at the last meeting we were talking about maybe going to 25 with the late fee difference. So that's why I did the 25% numbers instead of the 20, so we can kind of have a happy medium all the way around.
Would now be a good time for me to ask a question about, on the financials?
Yeah.
Okay, I was looking at the legal fees. Was that just for that month? It was
Oh,
over $11,743.
right, but you also have to remember that Blue Ridge Crossing, Blue Meadow Mud, and Belladia all come out of our general account. That's not taxpayer money. It is Blue Ridge Crossing money and Belladia and Blue Meadow Mud money, but we did not open a separate bank account for Belladia and Blue Meadow Mud. And for some reason, we did not order checks for Blue Ridge Crossing. They have their own account.
Mhm.
So I transfer the money from the Blue Ridge Crossing account into general so I can pay that. So that is a collective of general, Blue Ridge Crossing, Belladia, and Blue Meadow Mud.
Okay. But is
Is
that
there a
for,
way to break that down? Like just on the,
Not on that financial. I can do a vendor itemized list for Messer if y'all would prefer.
yeah,
it
because
that
I was gonna
way.
ask to see some of their invoices, because I really would like to see what they're charging. Does anybody review their invoices
I do.
and make sure they're not double billing
Mhm.
and?
Yep.
'Cause I
I've
used to
caught
work
it.
for a law firm, and
Right.
I do know they do that.
Right, and I've caught it before where they're trying to charge, a Blue Ridge North item to general, and I circle it, I send it back, and I was like, I need this moved to a Blue Ridge North invoice. So we have them, they're all itemized at the top. It'll say general matters, revenue matters, Blue Ridge Crossing, Blue Ridge North, so I know what I'm looking at. But I look over every single invoice
Okay.
because I know they can get, because there was one invoice that I almost brought to y'all. They were charging us $100,000 for an email review. And I was like, can we double check that, please? They're like, oh, that's only supposed to be $10. I'm like, yeah, let's change that.
Yeah.
So we did catch that one. So I do look, I promise.
can I go back up
Yeah, absolutely.
on the financial officer position?
Uh-huh.
Have we made that a position yet? Like, I don't remember voting that in as a position. We need to do that?
I can ask Allison because I think,
Since they're directly reporting to city council. And I
Right.
wasn't sure if we need to vote that in as a,
I'm hoping she would have told me that we needed to do that when we were talking about it, if we did need to do it, but I will ask her.
okay, and do we need to do something to undo what we did with the administrator
Nope.
position?
No.
So
Leave
that we
that
can
there.
just.
Yeah, because
okay.
that doesn't have to be filled, so it can stay on the books as a position
Okay.
until we want to fill it.
Yeah, I remember her telling us that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I will ask her that.
The public works update, I know we have a lot of, repairs up on Ridgetop.
Mhm.
And what exactly was happening up there?
Ridgetop,
Because it was, you know,
there
when
was,
it shut down, they were having to call in some
Right.
people to work on.
so there was one house on Ridgetop, the one next to,
Was it
Cunningham?
Foster?
yeah, Foster.
Okay.
Um, their sewer line, like this, a root grew up and shifted. So only about 30% of the sewer was getting to the main. So we had to go in there and remove all the roots, sleeve it, put a boot on it, repair it. And that's what that was.
So we're all good up there now.
Yes.
Yeah, because I just had seen them up there working one day and I was like, what do y'all do? And so they said it was a big mess.
Oh, it was a
Yeah, I
huge
mean, I
mess.
never
Yeah.
had it all shut down. So they just
Huge
got that all
mess.
resolved. Okay. And then also up on Ridgetop, just because I know I would assume it has to do with code enforcement, but there was a rental house over here or houses for sale and it had a whole bunch of tree branches and stuff. They're all in by the road. How do we get rid of those? I mean, would the code enforcement person not have gotten in touch with him ever to get rid of those branches? I mean, they sat there for quite some time.
Do you know the answer?
It's right across from Foster's.
From the Fosters?
Yeah.
Yes.
It's a rental property, I believe. Maybe it's
So-
for sale. But then there was a bunch of tree branches just really stacked up down that road. And they've been stacked up, you know,
Are they still there?
I had driven by it because you couldn't get by there because the road was.
Oh, the road was
fixed.
blocked, yeah.
So,
I will,
curious.
I will have them check on that.
Because I didn't know if, you know, I know we have code enforcement that drive around and do things, so I didn't know if they had just not been up that way because of the road or what our holdup was.
Okay. That's something else for it right now.
Anything else?
I'm, one other thing from my notes. Because we talked about it in the last meeting, you said you didn't know, you were gonna check up on it. Do you know when the last time we did raise water and sewer rates?
We can't find any record of it because our new system only goes back to 2020.
Okay.
So, and like I said, it was 2019 when I started working here. I lived in town in 2017 and the rates were the same. So it's been at least since 2017.
Bet you Tanya didn't know.
Yeah, and I'm gonna see her on Thursday, so I can ask Tanya.
Okay.
But well, I mean, we can't. Me and Crystal racking our heads against the
So
wall
it's been a
trying to
while.
find it. It's been a minute. Yeah. We can find out when the deposits were raised, and not the rates. Okay, Nick said they're gone.
Okay, good.
So I texted
Perfect.
Nick. Okay.
See, I knew you would know. I was just curious. Because I had driven up the drive up that direction. But then when I went down last time and the roads were all, you know, had all the
Yeah.
equipment, you couldn't get it first. You know, so I turned around at Allocating's house.
They're gone now. Oh, no worries. No worries. They're gone.
It was kind of unsightly road, so I was just wondering. Anybody have anything else? So I guess we just, that's it till 7.
You can break for 20 minutes. You can adjourn it and
So I'll entertain a motion to adjourn the workshop.
I'll make a motion.
Second. So we will adjourn the workshop at 6:41.
All right.
I would.
Located 2 West Hilton, Lotus, Texas, with the following items on the agenda for consideration and or action. Item 1, roll call. Linda Magny.
Here.
David Apple.
Here.
Ben Sisson.
Here.
Linda Lawley. Here. Don Williams. Item 2 is prayer and pledges of allegiance.
Heavenly Father, thank you for allowing us to gather here today. Please help give the council administration guidance as we handle matters concerning the city of Blue Ridge. Lord, thank you for all that you do.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Honor the Texas flag. I pledge allegiance to thee, Texas, one state, under God, one and indivisible.
Item 3, consent agenda. All matters listed under the consent agenda for discussion and possible actions are considered to be routine by the city council and require little or no deliberation. There will not be a separate discussion of these items, and the consent agenda items will be enacted by one vote. If a council member expresses a desire to discuss a matter listed on the consent agenda, the item will be considered separately. A, approve or disapprove the minutes from workshop and regular session meeting held December 2nd, 2025. B, public works update. C, city financial report. D, fire department report. E, animal control report. F, code enforcement report. G, new permit report. And H, write-offs for utility billing.
Was there animals report?
Yeah.
We had a code, was it
Yeah,
included in the
it
code
was included in
enforcement?
the code. They sent it to me all together this time.
Okay, because all I saw was the regular code.
I'm sure I saw it. But I remember seeing something about the
Yeah.
like patrol and hot sauce and. Installations. That's awesome. Control C limits.
Oh, this is not,
Yeah.
they sent it to me this morning, so I didn't replace it.
Okay.
My
so we
apologies,
should-
but we do have one. They actually sent it. It's just not in the packet.
So we should strike that.
Yes.
And I have a question on the utility bill write-offs.
Yes, ma'am.
The one that's 281.86.
Let me get to it real quick, please.
No one food.
My goodness, if I can get to it, that'd be great. Yeah. Mine's all in here somewhere. Okay. Okay.
I just, that seems like a large amount for 1 month, so I was wanting to know, what did that consist of? Was there a week?
No, that is the 101 Pruitt, very large family that lived there. And they sold the house, and Crystal has a log of, she keeps a little steno book. It's like 3 pages of her trying to get in touch with these people, and they keep telling her, okay, I'll pay it this day, I'll pay it this day.
Right,
And
but
then-
is that just 1 month?
1 month with late fees.
With late fees?
Mhm.
Okay, and what do we charge for renters for their water deposits?
The renter water deposit is $255.
So if it was 255 plus 281, so
Yes.
their bill was almost $500 for 1 month.
Yes.
For water.
It is a ton of water. Yes, ma'am. But this was also, you got to think about the late fees because this wasn't just like last month. She's been working on this for
So
probably 3 or 4 months. Yeah. Because the reason that she put it on the write-offs is because somebody purchased the home. So she put it on the write-offs so she can get that off the account.
Okay.
Wouldn't that follow on a sale?
No, because we don't have we don't have an agreement with that person. This person was a renter, so we can't do it on a sale. The person who owned the home sold it, and that's why the renter's not there anymore. And we're not in a contract with the homeowner. We weren't in a contract with the renter.
Yeah, I know, we've discussed that
Yeah.
before, and I still kind of have a problem that we do it that way, that there's no recourse to go against the actual owner of the property. You know, I mean,
Yeah, I
I
mean,
don't know what other cities do on something like that. I'm curious.
I know that a former council person had mentioned like places in Garland that they do a renter. Like if you're a landlord, you have to fill out all this documentation saying you're going to be responsible for any, you know, overages or bills not paid or anything like that. But I mean, I bet we could do it. I just don't know how well that would work here. I mean, I'm sure we could, but we have to be in some sort of contract or agreement with them to hold them liable for a debt that's not theirs. So I wouldn't know the first thing about it, but I bet you we could look into it.
So there are some rules that prevent the city from collecting from a homeowner in terms of if they're not the ones who had the water contract, like Joni's saying, there are some limitations to that. Because you can't, just like you can't pass it on to the next person who comes into the house, like the next buyer, if they weren't in the contract. So there are some restrictions on what you can do. What other cities do is sometimes require a landlord to certify the property and say this is the rental, and then this person is going to be responsible for it or have some other kind of arrangement with them. If that's something that you guys want us to look at, we can research some other options if this is a problem.
I would like to, because I think that it's usually, it's renters that are stiffing us. I mean, it's not really owners that we're having problems with, is it? Do we have to write off all the time?
Not really, no.
The renters.
It does typically seem to be the renters.
It is, and that's why
Yeah.
we increased that renter deposit so high. I mean, that's a almost $300 deposit. Because most of our bills were only about 80, 90 bucks. But now you've got so many people living in one home. That's not the case anymore. That's not your minimum bill because they've got, you know, multiple families living in one house.
So you're saying this person's bill is close to $500, but 250 deposit took that down to 281.
Correct.
How long were they delinquent before they left?
I don't know exactly, but it's 3 or 4 months around. So that's 22% compounded onto 4 months of bills. And
So when you say they were 4 months, so they paid their bill, but not the late fee, and we turned them back on?
no, they didn't pay the bill and it was shut off. But just because, and so that includes the $76.50 shut off fee. I mean, there's tons of fees included in that. This is all the information that I have right now, but I can ask Crystal for the full breakdown if you would like, so you know exactly what they're getting charged for and how delinquent they were.
I think it'd be a good idea.
Okay.
That way we know where we can move forward with this.
Okay.
Yeah.
For the next, maybe what we need.
Could we have Allison move on that and look into
Yeah. the same.
some kind of agreement that we can do it at the same time, so we're not just waiting?
Yeah. I don't know.
Any other questions on the consent agenda items? I'll entertain a motion.
I make a motion that we accept the consent items with the exception of E.
I'll second.
All in favor? Item number 4. Public comment.
Very
All right, so we have Alex Gamble.
Hello, good evening, councilwomen and councilmen. Alex Gamble, 8239 Morgan Road, Blue Ridge, Texas. I attended the workshop earlier, but I didn't the update on the traffic signal light at 825 and 78. I don't know if TxDOT provided any additional updates.
So the only update that we got from TxDOT is that that is slated for a traffic light. And I sent her your photos that you sent me. Thank you for those. And she said it is slated, but they didn't want to do a traffic study during November and December and January because of the holidays. It can skew the results, but they are going to do another traffic study there. And there's not a timeline, unfortunately, but she said she will look into the timeline to getting a traffic light there.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
That's it. Thank you.
Thank you. I'm actually going to number 9, place at number 5 right now. And it's going to be discussion and possible action regarding appointments to the Planning and Zoning Commission. The city council will consider appointments to fill vacant and or expiring positions on the Planning and Zoning Commission in accordance with city ordinance and applicable state law.
So the recommendation that we're going to go with is to go ahead and appoint the 4 members or the 4 people who did turn in applications with an open seat, just like council sits right now, which does mean that any special sessions, regular sessions, you will be okay with a quorum of 3. But any special sessions, all 4 members would have to be at that meeting for any action to be taken. So that is the recommendation for the P&Z board.
And it says on the appointments for 2-year terms beginning, we don't have a date on who can expire.
Beginning when we appoint us.
So that would be Crossfire, Kevin Mattingly, Christopher Rogers, and Kelly Cogburn. All do.
Yes, ma'am.
So are we making a motion to?
Oh, you need a
appoint these
motion?
people?
I'd like to make a motion that we appoint Tammy Crosswhite, Kevin Mattingly, Christopher Rogers, and Kelly Cogdill to the P&Z board with the term beginning tomorrow.
Yeah, we'll do tomorrow.
At a 2-year term beginning tomorrow, which is 1/14/26 and ending on 1/13/28.
Second that recommendation.
All in favor?
And real quick, I have everybody's email addresses that are here, so I will send y'all a little information packet, and we appreciate and thank you for wanting to serve on the board. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
with all four of us being appointed tonight, and it's a 2-year term, do we not have to stagger it so it's not 4 seats every 2 years?
No, how do we go about that?
Good question, Chris.
So I'll have to take a minute to think about how that works, but typically what you could do is have some of them appointed for a 1-year term that will expire, and then you do reappointments. That way doesn't mean they can't be reappointed because you don't have time limits, but you could have some of the terms shorter than the others, so it theoretically expires prior to the others. If that makes sense.
Yes, sir.
I was wondering if we could have somebody from an ETJ as a kind of like input from the ETJ, just kind of as help for the outside people. Because you're going to do a lot of ruling on the outside ETJ. You got the one subdivision right out here on, I don't know what that one's called out here, but you guys
Creekside
are doing a
Ranch.
lot of ruling out
Mhm.
there. And you had an interest, what I understood, from somebody that wanted to sit on the board or the committee. Maybe you just want somebody to have some input from the outside. Just, they wouldn't have any
Vote.
vote or whatever, but maybe some opinion for us. Because we don't have really any opinion from the outside. I don't know.
Would that not fall under when the P and Z has a meeting? They're open to, their meetings are open to public knowledge. So if a person expressed a question or desire, then they could bring that before the P and Z. And the P and Z could talk amongst themselves. Correct?
They still have comments on any items, just like anyone,
Yeah.
somebody from outside your city would come in. And I do believe our current ordinance for planning and zoning does not allow us to appoint anybody that does not live within the city
But
limits.
as long as they could come to a meeting and they could speak
Yes,
and answer the questions to a P and Z, that should suffice for it then.
correct.
They would be giving their thoughts. And
That'd be good.
so,
Okay, so do we need to redo
do the terms.
our terms?
I think we can do what Allison,
Right, but do we
Said,
need to like
yeah, about the motion.
restate it in our
Yeah.
motion? So how will we decide who's doing 2 and who's doing 1?
Stick everybody's name in a cup.
I'll do
There
2.
we go. Oh, Chris only wants 2 over
I'll
there.
volunteer to do 2.
Okay,
I'll do 2.
okay.
You'll do 1, okay. So
Uh,
Tammy and Kelly to do 1.
1, 2, because you gotta, okay.
Well, we have the empty seat too,
Mhm.
that we can do that as a 1.
That's right. So we could do 3 2s and then 2
And we can
1s.
put like these 3 for the 2-year.
And then, yeah, that's a good idea.
Okay,
Okay, so the vacant seat is 1, Tammy is 1, the 3 that are here tonight are 2.
yes.
We need to restate the motion.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, I make a motion that, Kevin Mattingly, Christopher Rogers, and Kelly Cogdill serve a 2-year term beginning 1/14/26, ending 1/13/2028. Tammy Crosswhite serving a term of 1 year, along with the vacant, seat, a 1-year term beginning 1/14/26 and ending 1/13/27.
And I'll second that.
All in favor? None opposed. Okay, thank you.
Congratulations.
Thank y'all
And
very much.
thank you
Thank
so
you.
much for doing this for us.
And I'll go back to item number 5. This- That the court will into the city comments and act upon a request for a final plat known as Snowville Acres, lots 8, 9, and 10, block 1 of Snowville Acres, volume P, page 575, city of Blue Ridge, Texas extraterritorial jurisdiction, Collin County, Texas, being part of the Joseph Matthews survey. Abstract number 556 being changed with 3 lots into 2 lots. Lot 9R, block 1 measuring 2.319 acres, and lot 8R, Block 1, measuring 2.084 acres, and also which is located within the City of Blue Ridge's extraterritorial jurisdiction. And I think we had already basically somewhat approved this. The last time it was just a matter of getting some extra.
Right, and the plat has all the correct signatures on it, then it's all, everything is done correctly. Yeah, because they had commissioner court signatures on it,
Yeah.
that once we did it on that one.
So we will act on this as well.
Please.
Anyone have any questions? Anybody would like to make a motion?
Make a motion that we, accept the plat. Is that what we're doing?
Yes.
Okay.
Do you have a second? Thank you. All in favor? Item number 6, consider discussion and take possible action regarding an amendment to ordinance number 2025-1007-001, establishing a no parking zone along the west side of Business Highway 78 at West James / West Tilton to include a special events display.
So I don't, it's kind of blurry, but on the first 2 pages in it is the one that had already been approved, just so you can compare what we're doing. And the second one is a draft putting in the special event disclaimer to where the no parking will not be enforced during special events or weekends. I think, did I put weekends or just special events? I've looked at this thing so many times, I can't remember. Sorry. Special events, so not be enforced during special community events. So during the weekend, yes, would be. So just special community events such as when the square is temporarily closed for community gatherings, festivals, or other city-sponsored events, like the Harvest Festival that 4B does, the vendor things that they have every once in a while, you know,
Parades, all
puts on
that.
parades. So that would be when it's not enforced. So it's just a amendment to the already approved ordinance for special events.
What's the effective date? Where is that?
Of what?
It says immediately upon this passage.
I'm sorry?
It says section 4, says effective date, this ordinance shall become effective immediately upon its passage. Publication is required by law.
Have you talked to Creating Roots?
They want this.
Okay.
Yeah, no, they want this. Yeah,
Okay.
they've been fighting people left and right because I mean, nobody can get in or out and they're parking, blocking half of their actual parking on the side of the building because that's not city, or TxDOT, that's their parking.
How long will it take us to get the sign?
Probably as long as it took to get the engine brake sign because it's TxDOT. So,
Oh, okay.
yeah. But I mean, if this is what y'all are wanting, I will send this to Jennifer first thing in the morning.
I make a motion that we approve ordinance number 2025-1007-001.
Motion by Wendy, do I have a second? I'll second. Any seconds, all in favor? Any opposed? Number 7, consider, discuss, and take possible action on the City of Blue Ridge's master fee schedule, focusing on water, wastewater, trash, miscellaneous charges, development fees, late fees, and tap fees.
So I put a little key in there to try to color code it as much as possible. So one of the things, since we're doing a master fee schedule tune-up, I guess, is the flat rate. So we as a city charge $350 plus $5 per lot for anyone that wants to subdivide. Now, what that covers is newspaper, legal posting, filing fees, and mail. because anybody that subdivides, we have to notify everyone within 200 feet of the parcels that are subdividing. We have to put in a legal posting for the preliminary plat, and then one for the final plat. And I'm not sure if y'all have taken an ad out in a newspaper that no one reads lately, but it is a lot more than $350.
What's the filing fee for plats? Are expensive to file too, aren't they?
No, not really. You have to get a tax certificate. That's usually like $10, I
Mhm.
think. So you get the tax certificate, and to file it, $50, but we don't do that anymore. We
We're not doing
were
the
the
filing?
ones that were taking it to Collin County, but there's no way I'd be able to take 5 hours out of the day every time I get a plat to go file. So we have them go file it, and then bring us the recorded copy. And that's in our plat filing instructions now. We've changed it. But, so for one legal posting, it's roughly like $315. And I have to do two, and depending on how many people are surrounding whatever's being subdivided, like when Creekside Ranch was on a couple meetings ago
Mhm.
for that mistake on the plat, I had to send out 14 letters, and I don't have to send them certified anymore. That's not required. But you're thinking about $1 a letter, because it's 3 sheets of color paper, 1 envelope, and a stamp. So about $14, and that could get pricey with all these subdivisions coming in that have to go through us for any platting decisions. So I think we need to increase that, because we are not getting our costs covered almost solely for the legal postings that we are required to put in the paper.
So this 10,000 retainer fee is what you're wanting us to increase it to?
That 10,000 retainer fee is for
Engineering.
like subdivisions.
Okay.
So this plat filing fee is for someone that has
The
like
plat
5
application.
acres and they want to split it into 2.5 acre lots.
Because before, do we have it at $100? 1,000, we're missing some zeros.
Yeah.
So have you
Yeah.
looked at any other cities to see what they're charging?
So I haven't, but I do know that like
It says
places like
100, but it
Frisco,
has a comma.
they're charging like $5,000 for a plat fee. I'm not going to charge somebody that, because there's way too many people here that just want to cut off one little acre to build a house for their kids.
Yeah, but we gotta cover
you
our
know.
costs.
But I just want to cover our costs. That's all I want to do.
Okay.
I don't want to drug people. But so the plat application we're kind of doubling, because in order to have a plat application, you have to give me a retainer fee. So that should fall under the $10,000. So if someone like when we were first starting with the Belladia, they gave us a retainer of $10,000 that covers all the work we do on their plat application, all of the engineers, all of the lawyers, everything like that. And in that contract that they signed for that retainer, it says if this is used up, we're going to hit you up for another $10,000. Blue Ridge Crossing did the same thing. Blue Ridge North did the same thing. LGI is doing it now for Blue Ridge Crossing since Mitchell sold that. But I think we're kind of double dipping on the plat application and the $10,000 retainer. So, I mean, is that
So the subdivision retainer fee is just for large.
correct?
It's not just for somebody that's coming in here and dividing their land into two. That's gonna be the subdivision per lot fee.
Yeah, that's going to be the plat application. Like, so the plat rate.
So-
It's all, the wording is ridiculous, but the plat rate, like if I've got 10 acres and I want to subdivide off 3 acres for my daughter, I would have to then pay $350 plus $5 per lot. So I'd pay $360. to subdivide.
Okay. Guess I don't see where that is spelled out.
It's not really, but it, the whole thing could use a little work, the whole master fee schedule.
Yeah.
Because it is a little vague, but I think that might, I don't know if that is helpful. It might be a little helpful that it is vague. But let me see here. That one,
Because underneath that $10,000, when you've got in here, it says annexation 1,000, it says clarification. That implies it's 1,000, but it kind of implies it's 100 because you got a comma versus a,
oh yeah, no, that's not right.
so.
Yeah,
So
that's
is it
just
1,000 or is it
1,100
100?
Which is
for the master plan or plan development.
No, the plat application fee.
I'm just saying that should not be there because that falls under that and the retainer is wrong. Because it says master plan or plan development.
I think we need to look at all
I
this
think I do
stuff
too, because it gets very
Yeah,
confusing.
and
because
not
I
make a
think
decision tonight, but
on
Yeah,
that
because
anyways, right?
yes,
Okay,
I
but
think we
the-
need to look at these.
Separate it between water and then the development fees. Okay.
And maybe the verbiage, because all subdivision plats, well, dividing a lot is a subdivision plat. So, you know, I just think the verbiage needs to be addressed and a little bit more clarification before we start.
Agreed. I that's why that wasn't red because I didn't want to act on any of that. I just wanted to talk to y'all about it because it is super confusing.
Yeah.
It is very confusing because someone will call me and be like, well, wait, this says that. And I'm like, well, that's not what that's for. You're just wanting to do this. So this is how much you're going to pay. So yeah, it's a mess, but it's a mess. But the water and wastewater and the trash is what really does need to be acted on. The trash is automatic because we have a contract with them that automatically goes up every year. We have no control over that one. But like I said, I put in a 15% increase, a 25% and a 30%. And Crystal checked, Linda, you asked about doing a split percentage between residential and commercial. That is able to happen because you go by a rate table.
Okay.
So if y'all wanted to do 25% on residential and 30 or whatever way y'all want to do it, that is able to happen. We can do that quite fairly easily.
inside city rates and outside city rates.
There's just a surcharge on those for outside. But I did put on there the late fee is $10 instead of 22%.
Yeah.
I
think that's better.
because I know everybody kind of had a issue with that 22% late fee. And if every other water company around us is only doing $10, I think that's pretty fair.
Anybody have any other questions regarding the water? Water sewer? No thoughts?
Oh, for residential, I like the 15% to start out.
I do too.
I mean, this can be always revisited next year.
Absolutely. And we can, and TRWA, Texas Rural Water Association, They do those rate studies for us where we pay a membership to be a part of the TRWA. They will do those rate studies for us whenever we request it, and we don't pay for those. That's a free study. Free
Yeah, what was
study.
they were higher, weren't they?
They were much higher. But that is just what they're saying we need to do to catch up to everybody else, but we're not everybody else. We are not Melissa, we are not Anna. We don't have that type of
Base.
population. We don't
Yeah.
have that base. We don't have all the highways. We don't have the commercial business. So we can't really compare ourselves with Anna or Melissa or
Yeah, that's
anybody
why I like
around
the
us.
15.
I agree, that's what
Yeah.
I do too.
I mean,
think
if
do
we
it-
haven't raised our rates since 2017,
Yeah, so that's,
I mean,
we're going
we
on
should-
9 years, so
Yeah.
right?
I think an increase is warranted. I'm just not sure that it should be more than 50 to begin.
Sure.
Yeah.
We don't want to have everybody up here next meeting
Yeah.
screaming at it.
We definitely don't want to go the way of Trenton because there was that was outrageous.
What'd they do?
So my sister bought a brand new house in Trenton a few years ago. And their first water bill, their first full month water bill was like 90 something dollars. And then they raised their rates and her water bill went from like 90 to almost $300. And she's like, Joni, I need you to look at this bill. And I'm like, okay. And I'm like, they've got the same system as us. Let's look at it, and I'm like, this is what it is. Look at your base rate. Their base rate is $150.
Wow.
Holy shit.
Yeah, that's what I said. Yeah. So I was like, well, that's the problem. So I would not like to do that. That was like 100% rate
Well, that's
increase.
just not right to our
No,
citizens to do that to them.
no, not at all.
So when would these, take action?
We need to notify. So I think, I don't know, a month maybe, but I have to get, I don't think I'm required to notify of a rate increase. Am I? Okay, so what is my timeline on that?
I'd have to check.
I mean, because I want to notify
Yeah.
people of a rate increase, so, but I
So
didn't know if
no,
I
I'll
was
still be
required.
up there next month.
Yeah.
Either way, we're gonna have.
And that's
it.
okay, because
Because they need to understand, there's
Yeah.
a cost of things that
Right.
are on us.
Yeah.
all have gone up and we haven't done this in 9 years. And 15% is still way below what the surrounding towns are doing. So I feel like
Yeah.
it's justifiable and we can,
So Allison, after you research it, what do you think? Maybe it would be 1 to 2 months before we will be able to actually increase it?
Yeah, generally you want to do an ordinance increasing that water rate, because there are some things that you have to have in that and then
Okay.
give an effective date that is sometime in
Okay.
the future. So a lot of times if you're going to raise it, then you might say, even if we're voting on it today, it's not going to be effective until May 1st or something like
Okay,
that is typically how those are done, but you will need a water, ordinance. rate
Okay.
increase
Oh,
ordinance.
perfect.
so that would be on our
That's
next
helpful,
agenda.
Yeah, we can have it then.
Would we have that, or do we have to give out the notices first and give enough time for the notices to go out?
Isn't that the notice?
Well,
Wouldn't that be the notice if you?
That could be part of the notice, but we can get it on the water bill. So it'll go out on the water bill as well, because I'll put it on website.
Website, yeah.
social.
That way they get it on the next water bill and we'd still be able to act on our next meeting.
Yes.
Just say something, I just think last week I paid a water bill for $70. 40 years ago, when I moved to the same house, I was paying 35 a month.
Yeah, but
It's
you were
literally
also
double.
not having metered sewer, remember?
Huh?
You didn't have metered sewer. You were saying you were paying $10 for a sewer, no matter how
Well,
much
but yeah,
water.
but I mean, my water bill was $35 a month
Yeah,
40 years ago,
right.
and now 70, so it's
It's
only
gonna go up
double.
again, so just get ready.
I know. Yeah,
I mean,
well,
that's-
150.
That's not a bad trajectory though. In
That's a-
40 years, only going up,
Double.
that's not a
But then,
bad
yeah,
trajectory.
the sewer rate, what I said, like everybody paid a $10 flat rate.
Right.
I did, the school did, the
Outrage.
cattlemen's, the car wash, and it's like, God, really?
Yeah.
And we learned
And you said your bill went up to 60 and our minimum bill now is 69.11. So
Yeah.
that,
Yeah.
the rates are, that's not a bad increase.
Oh, hell,
It's kind of slow actually compared to everybody else. So
well, $150 flat rate.
yeah, flat rate.
That's stiff, seems like to me.
And they made them have irrigation.
Was that just for the, like their first 1,000 gallons?
Yeah,
Like what we
Yeah, just
do?
a minimum, just a minimum. Well,
I heard Princeton's is high too, or at least that's what Facebook says.
right. No, and I think
Well,
like,
you know, that's all true.
yeah, because I know Farmersville is like a co-op. So Farmersville is water, sewer, trash, electric, gas, you know, all of it is included. So you don't know what the heck you're paying for over there, but I don't know if Princeton could handle that.
When does the trash increase go into effect?
That is going to be on next month's bill.
Okay, and have you notified people of that?
Yes. Crystal is supposed to send out something when she does the bills on the 25th.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so I just said the residential water rates.
Mhm.
I wasn't including the residential sewer, which I agree to the, I think the 15, do y'all, what do you think of that for residential?
right. 15%.
15 for water and sewer increase?
I
Okay.
think so.
Okay. Commercial, I don't know. I don't know what to do about it.
And I keep going back to the only real like commercial place we have is the dollar store. Everything else is mom and pop. So, and I mean, even Harlow's is a mom and pop place. So I just,
The school,
well, yeah,
And
I know,
that's
but we
the
can't pick
user.
and choose, but
Yeah.
I know, but like, I'm thinking Creating Roots, I'm thinking Cattleman's, I'm thinking, you know, APS, I'm thinking of all the actual mom and pop places. I just would hate to hike it up a horribly high amount.
Well, we could start with the 15 and get them, we could always come back. I
Yeah.
mean, 6 months from now, we could come back if we decided to, if we see more commercials coming.
Yeah.
It doesn't all have to be, you don't have to increase everything high tonight. I mean, we could always revisit,
Absolutely.
get people accustomed to a 15% and then another 15 instead of just bam, 30%.
Yeah.
Right. Thank you.
Bless you.
Ah, thank you.
That's what just in case the water, residential water and residential sewer, right?
I think we need to do
commercial.
commercial as well, just at the same rate, not go up to 30%.
So do we want to just all of the yellow, everything that's outlined in yellow, just do,
Well,
I mean,
the
because that's
15.
outside city limits, all of that. Right?
yeah, that would
Didn't we?
be
Just on the water schedule though.
water and sewer.
We
Yeah,
don't wanna
because
do
I've got a
development
retainer
fees
fee.
and stuff.
Yeah. So what you would need would be residential, commercial, inside and outside city limits, late fees, and then those sewer tap fees that need to be approved as well. Because we'd already discussed that, and I said I was gonna put it all on one, so we can just do a master fee approval update.
Where are the sewer tap fees?
That's right underneath the late fee on page 1 of the master fee schedule. So the late fee, sewer tap,
Okay, I see.
water tap, 3/4 inch and above, you know, so basically everything in yellow except that retainer fee. Or development fees, I guess you can say.
Okay. Okay, I make a motion that we, accept the 15% increase of all the fees that are highlighted in yellow, with the exception of the development fees, subdivision plats, and request our attorney to, do an ordinance or same.
Second. Clint's gonna second it. All in favor? And then vote.
So you know what to go off of.
And we're going to go again. And item number 8. Discuss and possibly action regarding a special use permit to allow reductions in off-street parking requirements for proposed mixed-use commercial development in the D2 commercial district.
So, like we were talking about in the workshop, you've got Whiskey Stop, Tiger, is it Tiger Fuel, right? Okay. This big open area over here, he's wanting to build a multi-use commercial area. So the last time we spoke, he wanted to do like a restaurant and maybe somewhere like a pizza place or a dry cleaner. You know, he's like his options are open, but he wants to get a building there with multiple stores, like a strip center, basically. The problem we were running into is our code requirement is for every 100 square feet of floor space, you need 1 parking spot. Nobody has that. Like no
We
other
had-
city.
We had talked earlier,
Yeah.
months ago, about changing that
Yes.
to if it's a restaurant or if it's a dry cleaners, that the parking allocation is different based on the type of business going in.
Right. And that's kind of what I tried to do here for this, because like I said, he's been waiting forever. And he's like, I've got investors on the hook right now that want me to build. So I'm like, okay, let me see what I can do. So what Jackson at WSB suggested was a special use permit just for this. So this would not be for everybody. This is just for this. And what's great about a special use permit is it's liquid. So if the situation changes and there's not enough parking in the special use permit, it says he has to accommodate for more parking. So this is like, say he's got a restaurant and he has 50 parking spots, but that restaurant turns into the most hoppinest place in town and there's never enough parking, you got people on the highway, he would then be required underneath his special use permit to figure out more parking. I mean, I don't know if that would happen, but
Who did you consult with
Jackson,
and where is he's from?
engineering.
Engineering.
Yeah.
Did he review your special use permit under your code or? I just have some concerns, as there are some other ways to do this as
Okay.
well. You could do different types of plan development ordinances if these things are allowed under your code, but I haven't reviewed it, so I can't really advise you as to whether the SUP is the appropriate route. Because there are some other ways of doing this that would allow you to make some adjustments to the property, but I do think the property owners needs to give us a little bit more of a definitive
Right.
layout,
What do you do?
conceptual plan.
Exactly.
And I
Those
did
types
tell
of
him
things.
that. I did tell him, I was like, I need something more.
You know, a square foot of the building.
Well, I have the square footage. It's he wants a 13,000 square foot building.
Now, where is he putting this at? Over where Tiger Fuel is off of 78?
Yeah, so you know where
There
the
it is.
Keel place is, the
Yeah.
big red barn, it's in front of that. So he
And there's that much
owns,
space in here yet?
yeah, I've got the
So when you
the,
look at, 78, you go right,
Yeah.
look at this, like Billy Till's just right there.
I mean,
But then like there's,
that whole area right here. And it's a large spot.
Yeah.
But it's not a large enough spot to also accommodate 130 parking spaces for a 13,000 square foot building. And that's the issue we're running into, because for every 100 square feet, our ordinance requires one parking spot.
Right, so maybe his building needs to be smaller. I mean,
Well,
But his building being smaller wouldn't give him what he wants to put there.
so,
So I'm trying to,
so in the 13,000
What were you
square
gonna
feet,
say,
is he
David?
trying to put a restaurant,
I mean, you look at other
dry
areas.
cleaners and an office all in
I-
the
I'm
same
just gonna
building?
think-
yes,
Something I
Yeah,
drive
so it's
by
gonna be a
today,
strip.
Okay.
Where Paradise Dental is, there in Melissa,
Mhm.
that little strip mall in there. You know, I'm probably looking at 20 parking spots, for 4 or 5 different businesses right there, the
Mhm.
donut shop. and
Where's it?
the-
Is what in other cities like
Right there.
4 parking spots?
But
per-
they have parking behind the building
Yeah.
too.
every 400,
And, but yeah, I
400
mean,
to 500
It was
feet.
one
parking spot,
parking
maybe.
spot, yeah.
Mhm.
40 parking
But then you
spots,
also have to go
I mean,
into
that's-
the
But
time
a
of
dental
day.
office only has to have one,
So,
well, back when I was doing commercial, it was like one for every 300 square feet, because you're not gonna have that many patients in there.
Yeah.
Same with the dry cleaners, it was one per, you know, whatever. Yeah, it depends on what type of business is going in there. That's gonna be fluid too. You don't always have the same businesses in and out of the building. so.
exactly. And, what'd they call it?
And so he's building this in hopes that those places come to him, or he's already got them on the hook and ready to roll.
As far as I know, he wants to do the restaurant. So that's all his money. The other ones, because he's focused on the parking right now, because if he can't get some kind of, you know, answer about how many parking spots he needs, he's just not gonna build there at all. I mean, cause I can't remember how many businesses we have, but I can't remember if any of them meet the parking requirement.
I'm sure they don't.
Yeah, but we're moving forward, not.
Right,
backwards.
right. No, and I
So-
understand that, but maybe,
So what?
staggered
what we
peak
use
parking, that's what it's
suggested.
called. So staggered peak parking. So if you have a restaurant and say a dentist office or a dry cleaners are open Monday through Friday,
Right.
7 to 5, and some on Saturdays. Most of them are closed on Sundays. So that parking demand is gonna be for
Mhm.
that point of time.
Right,
But your restaurant's probably gonna be more nighttime, because a lot of people inside city limits don't live here.
Right.
And I mean, they don't work here, so they're gonna be there at night. So it's that staggered peak parking, shared parking. I don't know, I just think the one spot for every 100 feet is a little restrictive.
My concern, I just don't know if the SUP is the appropriate device to get there. They can always ask you for a variance, or if you did a plan development ordinance, you have an overall sense of what the project is going to be. And you can negotiate back and forth with the developer in terms of what you're getting there. So you have some say-so in how this project looks. My concern is just that I don't think the SUP, typically an SUP is used for things like, if you want to put something in a zone where it's not allowed by right, you might be able to do it with an SUP. So if, for instance, you want to put in a pawn shop, most cities have a use map that says you can only put a pawn shop in a certain zoning area. So if we're gonna, put it there, then you need an SUP, then you have to have that approval from council. I've never seen an SUP be used for parking. Doesn't mean it's never happened, but I've not seen it. I just don't know if that's the appropriate device for council to use if you're interested in approving this. I also think we probably need a little bit, the applicant needs to give us some more information as
It'd
to
be nice
what
to have
he's
some
doing.
sort of a drawing type thing of what he's actually kind of trying to plan out over there.
He gave me one, but it was literally on a napkin, and I was like, son,
But
Oh,
it would just be nice to have something
Yeah.
to kind of have more of a visual idea. where it's gonna sit, how it's gonna look, and kind of, where everything's
Right,
gonna
and
be.
where he plans on putting the 85
Yeah,
parking
exactly,
spaces,
yeah.
so we can kind of see,
Around.
okay,
Is he building it himself?
Um,
If he's already got a builder, then the builder should be able to provide that.
that's what I'm thinking, but I think everything is just at they're right there at the line, ready to go, but they're just waiting on us to provide them with parking. Because right now, if they were to build anything, according to our ordinances, they would have to have 130 parking spots.
okay, but then I would suggest that they bring us something with their
Drawings,
suggested
yeah.
85 parking spaces,
Okay.
so that we can kind of get an idea of what they're planning, how it's gonna work with what's already there. So we have a better idea of,
Yeah, because
what
you've
we're
got Tiger
approving,
Fuel
just
already
to
over
say-
here, and then
Right.
you're gonna have this other, you kind of need to know, because you've got the Tiger Fuel, you've got the liquor store here,
Mhm.
and so that's gonna be, coming and going, and then you've got this
Right.
other, so it's kind of
just
hard
kind
to
of see
visualize.
the ingress, egress, and kind of figure out what's really going to be at play
Okay.
there, and not just,
As long
Here's
as
a
I can give him
building.
something, he'll be happy. Cause I mean, he calls me like twice a week. Got anything? I'm like, I gotta take this to people. Can't just approve it. I have to take it to people.
Right.
So
And we
need a
would
visual.
I
not be
agree.
doing our diligence if we just said, yes, here's 85, you can just have this 85 part.
Got it.
We need to see what he representing. for.
Okay. I will let him know.
Because if there is parking issues and it starts to spill over in the streets and people are gonna reach out to the city.
Yeah,
Right,
because then it's
there's
gonna
an
be like
issue
on this
there.
busy highway 78,
Mhm.
we're already trying to get a traffic light down here,
Right.
we've already got the others, we have so many accidents, and you don't need all the extra people pulling out there, so.
Right.
In case they need a lot.
Conceptual
Yeah.
site plan.
Exactly.
That's what Jackson does.
Yeah. So I'll reach out to Sunny and give him that information. So
He has
He'll
a
have
restaurant
something.
inside there now, doesn't he?
Yeah, they did. just
Yeah.
recently.
He still, I
And
didn't
the
know.
Tiger
kinda.
Fuel.
I
Yeah.
wasn't sure if he still had this one.
yeah,
They did that one and the one over here, mixed up, because I heard. you were
I
talking
know.
about,
So it's like
eating and restaurants.
Tiger
and this and
Stop
that, and I'm
is a
thinking,
mix and Tiger Fuel is the whiskey stop. I just started calling it the whiskey stop because like,
Because I hear different people talking about, eating at whatever location. I'm thinking, okay. Then they say seemed to imply there's a big restaurant inside.
well, there is,
I'm thinking,
but they don't use it. There's like a big, huge seating area over to the north end of the building.
Yeah, Dina, is it
Yeah.
Dina? She used to cook there.
Yeah, but now
When
what
Mike
about over
owned
here?
it.
Is there a big space over here?
There's a small little seating area inside Nick's.
Yeah.
All right, so you'll get more information and we'll bring it back to council.
Yes,
And
ma'am.
in the meantime, you'll research the other stuff.
If you take a motion to table, then we can table.
Yeah.
So I make a motion that we table number 8.
I'll second.
On favor?
Mayor, if we could revisit item number 9 as well.
Okay. Yes, ma'am.
In the time after we looked at this, when I pulled up your planning and zoning code, and it looks like your ordinance does not allow you to appoint for portions of terms. So you have to appoint for 2 terms. So my recommendation would be to appoint the members from tonight for 2 terms. And then we'll have, I'll have a resolution as to how to stagger those terms as we proceed forward.
Okay. Thank you for bringing that up.
So,
So, need a motion on that?
yeah, if you do a motion to
Okay.
reconsider.
I'll make a motion to amend number 9 to appoint all 4 appointees to a 2-year term beginning 1/14/2026 and ending 1/13/2028.
I will second.
All in favor? Thank you, Nancy. Item number 10, discussion of placing items on future agendas. Wendy, anything? I know
Just,
you do.
just a couple things. We kind of touched upon when we were talking about, how do we enforce anything? So I wanted to bring up, municipal court. And ask, I looked on the websites. I don't know this for a fact, but it says there's somebody named Terry Douglas is the judge.
Terry has been long retired. Yeah.
He's retired.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah. He's
Well,
retired
who's,
from all
so,
of it.
okay, I was looking on
Yeah.
Farmersville and Josephine. And that's who they've showed as their municipal judge.
Well,
Well, he's a
He can
justice
still
of the
do
peace.
it.
He
Yeah,
does that.
can Do it for them.
Right, but he is retired from Blue Ridge.
It's the same Terry Douglas. I'm pretty sure he works for our farm.
Terry, yeah,
Yeah.
Judge,
Judge
Well,
yeah, Judge Douglas.
When there's Terry Jr.
Oh,
He has a
yeah,
son- He
there's
has a son
Yeah.
named
Terry.
Terry.
okay, it might be him then.
Yeah.
Because Terry Douglas is
Do
probably.
they
Do
call
know
him a
Terry Douglas.
nickname?
Yeah. I don't-
Do they call him Toot? Because that's the junior. Yeah.
But
So-
anyway, I mean, I think we need to find a judge and all the court people
So we would
to
have
do
to
like a
have,
quarterly.
yeah, we have to have a judge, a prosecutor, and a clerk. We have tried, we went to,
I would recommend not going too far into the discussion. of
Yeah,
it
okay.
if it's not
yeah,
on
it's not on the agenda.
Okay.
Okay, my bad. I will put it on the agenda for next month.
Broke my glasses.
Uh-oh.
Okay, what's the update on Pruitt Street? Anything?
that's good.
Pruitt's done.
Okay, have we given them the certificate?
Yeah, they've, this morning, I've gotten 4 approved homes to be started building in Blue Ridge Crossing.
And I was gonna bring up, doing a sewer plant tour.
I'll have to ask the guys, because right now, our guys are going back and forth into classes. So I don't know if now would be the best time, but I will get with Nicholas and see what we can figure out.
I just want to kind of put it back on the table.
Yeah.
that-
Anything else, Wendy?
That was it. Thank you.
I'm good.
Linda?
I just have the water and sewer ordinance, increase ordinance.
This is kind of a strange person, but, down here where we have the park, as you come on 545, it's all grown up, trees, whatever. How can we go about doing that cleaned off?
Are you talking about before Paradise Estate?
Yeah, I mean, because it is a pretty big eyesore, and
It is.
I know in the summertime it's all grown up and it's green, but now it's all dead, but it's still dead looking branches. And I didn't know if that's something that we can contact I mean, I don't know how we go about getting it cleaned off to make it look nice. I mean, I'd love to have it cleaned off and maybe have a sign that says, welcome to Blue Ridge or something, right there. Because that's a dead piece of land that we're not gonna be able to do anything with, because we all talked about,
Yeah.
thought.
Start a tree farm.
That'll be expensive, yeah.
Yeah, so I just,
And we don't have the equipment for it, but
I didn't know. Maybe we might have some nice person who might want to volunteer to do it. I don't know. It's just- Yeah, it was just a thought.
Of a community cleanup day.
That's all I have.
Okay.
Anyone else have anything else? Okay, item number 11 is an adjournment.
Make a motion when you're done.
Second. Trent, all in favor? Eight oh four.